First round telephone interviews. Sometimes your first round interviews will be conducted over the phone. Sometimes this is the screening interview. You may get a case question as well. Things to remember. If possible, go to a quiet and private place. Turn off the TV and lock the door so no one barges in and interrupts you. Most important, you are your voice. That's all the other person on the phone has to go on. Your voice should be upbeat and enthusiastic. Speak clearly and with confidence but not arrogance, right? Finally, use the calculator. I know it is tempting to have it right there, but if you get an answer too quickly, or the interviewer can hear buttons clicking, you are sunk. Right, of course. First round telephone and Skype interviews. In addition to all that, for a Skype interview, you will need to dress up as you would for a regular interview. I've heard stories about the interviewee dressed nicely above the waist, but wearing pajama bottoms, shorts, or sweatpants. Sweatpants. Normally this wouldn't be a problem unless you have to get up and retrieve something. Also, be aware of your background. What can the person on the other side of the computer see of your environment? If you have an inappropriate poster hanging on your wall, which is porno poster, right? No one do that. You might want to remove it or angle the camera away from the poster. I know everybody knows what to do in such a case. You are just saying over. I mean, you're just giving the more the information, you know, what their apartment or dorm room looks like. It gives me additional information on their personalities and organizational skills. Now I got it. First round group case interviews. McKinsey and other firms sometimes hold group interviews for non-MBA graduate students as a part of their first round interviews. During a group interview, consultants look more at the group dynamics than at how the group answers the question. Does this candidate have the ability to build a relationship, empathy, and teamwork? On one hand, you are a competitor of the other people in the group, but on the other hand, for this moment in time, you are teammates. People who are aggressive and try to dominate the conversation don't get called back. Remember, consultants work in teams, and if you are not willing to be team player, then you are out. Right? It's like the specified cells in the tissue. So everyone should be in harmony so that the larger goal shall be achieved. So this is all about the system, right? None of the material, none of the even non-material things are absolute alone. Everything is connected. Everything is attracted to another one, so that the something great happen, right? This is how things happen, even subatomic level, like a lepton as an electron mingling with the nucleus, which is positive charge, with a neutron. In many business school classes, the professor rarely called on anyone who had his hand raised. Right. In my business school classes, the professor rarely called on anyone who had his hand raised while someone else was speaking. This indicated that the hand-raising student wasn't listening to his classmate and had his own agenda. Like a business school case class, you are expected to build on what others have said and move the discussion forward, not take it off on a tangent or in your own direction. or move the discussion back because you had a point you wanted to make. Please be careful not to do that. Because this is distraction. This is a distraction to achieve the biggest goal, which is achieved by as a team, by teams, which consist of the individuals. So plural, not the singular one. Stress interviews. Yes, stress interviews. Well, they are back. Stress interviews. They usually come in one of the two forms. The first type is the 2-on-1. You are the one. The interviewers ask you question after question without giving you much of a chance to answer. They'll make unfavorable comments to each other about your answers, dismissing your answers as amateurish or ridiculous. They may even turn rude and snappish. Why do interviews do this? They put you through this to see how you react. Can you defend yourself and your answers without becoming defensive? Can you maintain your cool and your professionalism? Can you handle it if someone snaps at you? Or will you crumble and cry? The second type is the silent treatment. Silent treatment. No. The interviewer doesn't smile. He usually sits in the silence, waiting to see if you start talking. If you ask the interviewer a question, he'll usually shoot back a one-word answer. He might question many of your statements, making you explain even the simplest of the answers. Why do they do this? They'll tell you that silence leads to stupid statements. Where the interviewee will blurt out irrelevant conversation just to fill the space. And it's important to know how you would react in a situation like this with a client. Sometimes during the case, you will be asked to make a decision. You will be asked to choose between A and B. If you choose A, and the interviewer will look you right in the eye and say, "Let me tell you why you are wrong." If you had chosen B, he would have looked you right in the eye and said, "Let me tell you why you are wrong." There is no answer prepared. It doesn't matter which one you choose. He is going to tell you why you are wrong. Again, he does this to see how you react. Action, reaction, right? Law of action, reaction. Again, he does this to see how you react. Do you turn red? Does your jaw tighten, or do your eyebrows shoot up? Clients are going to challenge your findings and ideas all the time. The interviewer wants to make sure you can handle criticism when he gets in your face. While he is telling you why you are wrong, if you don't find his answer very persuasive, then simply say, "That was an interesting argument, but I didn't find it compelling. I'm sticking with answer A. That's what he wants to do. Stick with your answer if you think you are right. Defend your answer without being defensive." Okay, right, I got it. If in his argument he brings up something that you didn't think about, and now that you are thinking about it, it changes everything, admit that you are wrong. Simply say, "That was a very persuasive argument, and to be honest, I didn't think about the inventory issue. I think you are right. I think B is the right answer. There is no shame in changing your answer if you are wrong. It shows that you are still objective and open to reason. Remember, one of the main reasons corporations hire consulting firm is the firm's objectivity." Right, firm's objectivity. If you can remain objective about your answer, then you are one step closer to being a consultant. What the interviewer doesn't want you to do is change your answer just because he said you are wrong. Rules for stress interviews. Don't take it personally. Try not to get flustered. Roll with the punches. Watch what you say. Make sure it is relevant to the interview. Remain confident. That's right. This is all about businesses, right? Yes. This is all about how you win the business, how you benefit things. Confidence. To add to the fun, while all things is going on, you need to sound confident even if you don't feel confident. If your confidence level is too low, they are going to question everything you say. There is an old saying about Yale professors. They are often wrong, but never uncertain. You need to carry that same mindset into your interview. Even if you are uncertain, you need to remain confident. Right. Advice for international students. Over my 18 years at Harvard, I've advised thousands of international students pursuing career in consulting. Most of these students initially wanted to work in the US before returning to their home countries. While many were successful like their American classmates, most were not. Consulting jobs are very competitive and highly sought after. I offer 3 additional pieces of their advice for international students. 1. Be honest about your communication skills. Much of the interview process is driven by communication skills. Are you truly fluent in English? Do you have an accent? How pronounced is it? A couple of years ago, I worked with a brilliant Chinese student. He did very well in the mock case interview I gave him. However, his language skills, particularly his presentation skills, were poor. While his understanding of the English was excellent, his verbal and written skills left much to be desired. Against my advice, he applied to the Boston office of all the top firms. While he received a number of the first round interviews, he didn't get a single second round interviews. He found himself competing against American Harvard students, and he didn't stand a chance. Right. 2. Think long term and play to your strengths. I met several times with a Russian student. Her English was excellent. She could articulate her thoughts, and she had a good command of the business English. While she had an Eastern European accent, she was easy to understand. Her grades, work experience, and extracurricular activities were just okay, but nothing great. So she faced some pretty stiff competition from her American classmates. She wanted to work in New York. Her problem was in landing that first round interview. We talked about thinking long term. If she applied to the Moscow office of these firms, she would have a significantly better chance of being hired than if she focused just on New York. She knew the language, the culture, and the economics of the region, and she had a degree from the prestigious American university. She could work in Moscow for 2 years, then transfer back to the US, which is exactly what she did. So cool. 3. Come back to campus in case fighting form. summer internship are tough to get, so don't be discouraged if you don't land one. I have the pocket full of stories about students who didn't land a summer internship, but did find a full-time consulting job upon graduation. Right. There are many more full-time opportunities than the summer positions, but they are still very competitive. Don't waste your summer. Use it to become a better candidate. Come autumn, the first step is to secure a summer job where you will be developing some of the same skills if you worked in a consulting firm. The second step is to practice your cases over the summer. I had a brilliant student from the Caribbean who had no business experiences but plenty of great leadership experience. He received the 4 first-round summer internship interviews. He made it to the second round with 2 firms but did not receive an offer. He spent the summer working for a large international financial agency in Washington, D.C., where he wanted to settle. He spent the summer contacting alumni who worked in the DC office of the 2 major consulting firms and invited them out for lunch, coffee, or beer. Right. He learned about their firms and he made great connections within those offices. Every time he spit a coffee or drank a beer with them, he asked them to give him a case question. This went on all summer long. Then he returned to campus in September. He was in case fighting form and had many supporters within each firm. He ended up with full-time offers from both McKinsey and BCG. Wow. To summarize, strengthen your communication skills. Think long-term and play to your strengths. Come back to campus in fighting form. Advice for industry hires. If you are applying as an industry hire, there are a few things you need to know. While most of the hires made by the big consulting firms are university hires, the number of industry hires has been increasing, although it is still around an 80 over 20 breakdown of the university over industry. Having years of the experience in a particular industry isn't always a good thing. For example, if you have 10 years experience in the healthcare industry, some firms might be reluctant to hire you for your industry experiences because you come with certain prejudices or belief about an industry. The firm are worried that if you see a problem with a client, you are going to solve it the same way you solved it when you worked in the healthcare. They like people who can look at the problem objectively with no preconceived notions. They will, however, draw on your industry knowledge when building industry files. So don't be surprised if you are assigned to new industries at first. Right. Quite right. The interview processes is somewhat the same. If you are applying to McKinsey, you'll probably be asked to take the written exercise that most non-MBA have to take. The first round might consist of the 3 1-hour interviews which will have both a personal experience components as well as a case. I'd be surprised if the cases you get a touch on your old industry. They want to test your thought structure, not your industry knowledge, right? They will expect you to be more confident than the university candidate, more professional in your demeanor. Another thing to remember is that you will enter the firm at the same level as newly minted MBA unless you bring a host of clients with you. You may be reporting to someone years younger than you are. Keep in mind that these firms are meritocracies and you can move up as quickly as your talents allow. In fact, you want to enter at that level. It will give you time to get your sea legs and establish yourself. And now, at least, it's time for. Thank you.